Kolegyně a kolegové, je tady poslední příspěvek konference. Bude tlumočen z anglického jazyka, takže kdo z vás by s angličtinou měl problém, můžete si ještě u kolegů půjčit sluchátka. A já bych tady chtěla uvítat kolegu Gideona z holandské policie, konkrétně z města Eindhoven. A tímto mu předávám slovo.
Okay. I'm going to use this one. So a whole lot of you ran away or still on the coffee. I now see I wear the same clothes as I did last month when this photo was taken, but don't worry, I washed them. Thank you for inviting me into this warm city. It's the first time for me in Prague, and it's beautiful. The past 2 days I have a lot of impressions, talked to the police of Prague, talked to some people of Prague, and did some nice things. I learned some nice things about how the way of life in Prague is, how the cooperation is between some institutes with policing, why policing has the difficulty of cooperate with other institutions like streetwork. First of all, I will introduce myself. I'm Gideon Goudriaan. I'm an operational expert at the district agency, and I work in Eindhoven. I coach several district agents. I will explain later on what a district agent is, because that's not something they know in Prague. I work for about 20 years now for the police. The first 6 years of my career are at Amsterdam, and I moved in 2005 to Eindhoven. I'm also 10 years specialized in youth safety, where repression was first the main job of police. But I think we have to go to prevention to make bigger steps with youth. I'm also a proud father of 3 daughters and write poems and books. So, but that's okay. Something about Dutch police. Dutch police is divided in 11 units. The 11th unit is a national unit, and the other 10 are local units. I work at Unit 9. That's the east of Brabant. Brabant is a province of the Netherlands. Eindhoven has approximately 228,000 citizens. 65,000 of them are adolescents. This is a big part of Eindhoven. The district agents work together with partners, so also street work. They identify and advise on district-related problems, and they direct police teams for activities in the district. And they also contribute in an integrated approach. The district agent is the local point of contact for the neighborhoods, residents, retailers, businesses, hospitality, schools, neighborhood associations, civil associations, like a neighborhood watch. I don't know if you have them in Prague. Okay, first of all, I have a question to you. Why should a street worker seek cooperation with the police? Does anybody has an answer to that, or dares to speak? I won't bite.
Not to get arrested.
Not arrested as well. No answers? Okay. Next question then. Why should a policeman seek cooperation with a street worker? Why would you like it to cooperate with police? I'm curious. You don't wish to cooperate? Mm.
Because they work both on the street.
Yes, they work both on the street. They have another job, but it's important they know each other because they both collect other information, and it's important they meet to share that information to do the best job for the youth. So that's why I think we have to cooperate. Youth has the future. I'm going to read it because it's another language and I'm not that good in English. So. They are the future inhabitants of our towns and villages. It's therefore important that we provide a safe environment in which young people can develop and discover. Parents, neighbors, schools, sport clubs, etc. are the safety net for children. Professionals support the network and coach where necessary. This requires good coordination and a joint mission. The district agent is an important link between the neighborhood and the police. Every 5,000 inhabitants has their own police officer in the Netherlands then. He or she knows the neighborhood, recognizes and shares signals of crime and care within its network. The police talk to the young people on the street. Knowing each other is important in order to be able to make agreements. The agreements must ensure that the nuisance is kept to a minimum. Youth work and the police have always had good contact in the Netherlands. There is always a field of tension in the sharing of information. And the most common comment about youth work is that they are afraid of losing the trust of young people if they visibly cooperate with the police. I was wondering if you share that feeling. No? Yes? Oh, thank you very much. Otherwise I'm ready in 5 minutes. Knowing each other's interests also provides insight into why some things can or cannot be done. Respect each other's work and responsibility. That builds trust. Also know each other's strength and use it to help each other. For example, a youth worker had good contact with a group of young people. At a certain point, this contact changed and an unworkable situation arose. The youth worker asked the neighborhood agent, the district agent, to pay more attention to the group. Through the attention of the police, the youngsters sought contact with youth work. They came more into the youth center and the contact became better again. This created a workable situation again. Well, how does this work? Trust is necessary in order to share information with each other. We have a joint mission that puts the young person first. The cooperation between the police and youth work has existed for a long time, but until recently it was often invisible for the outside world. Today, youth work and the police discuss youth groups that are located within the neighborhoods. In particular, we talk about group behavior and how we can help each other to improve this behavior. Together we think about sustainable solutions. It is tempting to talk about persons, but this is made more difficult by legislation. The youth worker stands for the young people and will always protect their position. However, cooperation with the police is visible also for young people. The district agent visits the young center and speaks to young people. For example, cooperation between police and youth work has been seen as normal. The municipality of Eindhoven wants to pay more attention to early warning. In the past, cooperation was mainly reactive and repressive, but now the focus is on prevention and early intervention. In addition, we provide customized solutions. Every young person is unique. As a result, a group approach does not offer sufficient solutions for the individual. For example, a group of young people cause a lot of nuisance in the neighborhood. They hang on playground equipment, leave a lot of debris behind, intimidate passers-by, etc. There's a suspicion they are using drugs within the group. The group is in the picture of the youth work and they are in conversation with each other. Arrangements are being made but are not being met. The youth worker shares his concerns with the area coordinator of the municipality. This area coordinator takes the signal to the official triangle. The area coordinator briefly talks about the problem, indicates possible causes, and what has already been tried to stop the nuisance. Based on his story, the signal is discussed and assessed. If there is still insufficient escalation, the area coordinator is instructed to increase the connection between youth and the neighborhood in order to arrive at a sustainable solution. When it does escalate or threatens to escalate, the municipality instructs all partners, as police, youth work, special investigations officers, etc., to share all data. When this data are known, the official triangle meets again and discusses the young individual. Swap pages. Which party is already involved with the young person and or family who should join them in order to be able to answer the request for help as well as possible. As we call it, a round table is being organized to which the young people, parents or guardians, and the parties involved are connected. Only parties who are involved in the family at the moment or who can make a contribution to solving the request for help will join in. This makes information sharing less vulnerable. The round tables are self-contained and flexible in composition. In addition to individual approach, we also look at the connection assignment that the area coordinator has. The police and youth work found themselves on the street to pick up new signals. This gives us an insight into whether the approach is successful. I now have to do something with the computer because I have a movie to show. One time is enough. What you just saw is called Buurthelden. That's the Dutch name of neighborhood heroes. It's a project in Eindhoven. What we have done is we seek cooperation between youth work, municipality, police and social work to come together, and we ask the group of people, kids around 11 and 12 years old, to join us doing this. And what's this? The man standing at the bottom left, that's the mayor of Eindhoven. He signs a contract with the children, a group of 15 children, and for a half a year, 1 day in a week, we do lots of things with those kids. They joined police. Better can take this one so I can point it out. We organized bootcamp trainings. for the youngsters. Police did itself to build more trust to the police and make it easier to connect with each other. This is a laser gun. Don't know if you use them in Prague or to to detect the speed of cars. The youth stopped cars who were speeding and talked to the people in the cars. And it was a perfect action. And this one is an action where they go out on the street, try to catch and film. It's all fake, because, of course. But they liked it very much. And what we saw is that the children who participated this project now calls out for the police when they are on the street. They communicate with them, and we hope that the trust that we have made during this project will build a good connection in the further years. So when they are 15, 16 years old, we can still talk to them. So prevention instead of repression. And I spoke to the Prague police yesterday, and they want to reach out. They will try their best to make contact to the outside. That's another kind of police than we have. And what they were saying, and I heard it before, that the how do you call it? Communist? The area has a problem now as well. I don't know how to pronounce it well, but they want to try. They want to reach out also to you. So I was wondering if it's a compared mission, perhaps. Well, that brings me to the end of my presentation. And I was wondering if there were any questions for me. And if there are, please speak to the mic, because otherwise it will not be translated to me and you will be waiting very long for an answer. Are there any questions? No? Then I have one to end with. How does this change your perspective and on cooperation between police and your work as street worker? No? Okay. No. Yeah, yeah.
I can share the experience in England. It is very controversial for street workers to work with the police in England. Maybe it's similar here. We traditionally did not work with the police. Well, not entirely true. We would meet with the police when we began street work. We would explain what we did. We would ask them to respect that we wouldn't share information and that we didn't want the police to come and be friendly with us when we first went in the area. Is this similar to your work? Maybe some. And then there was a policy maybe about 10 years ago that all local authority workers had to work with the police. And so some street workers did go out with the police in cooperation, and some of us said, no, we won't do that. So I think you're a very nice person. I think you clearly care about young people. I wish all police cared about young people as much. However, I have to say that even if I found a caring police officer, I would still not go out on the street with them, because I think it's important to keep the roles separate. Maybe other people disagree, but I think that's very important.
I understand that. I understand. Well, it's also a culture thing. In the Netherlands, we we're working a long time to build trust, to get close to people. We were once policing, I think, similar to Prague, really raw. We want to arrest people, find them, but the people are changing. They don't want to be approached aggressively. They want to talk. They want to know why they're doing things wrong. They want to learn, and we have to teach them, coach them in how to behave on the street, and also to youth, I think. So, you have a question?
Actually, I have two questions. The first one is, my thought is that it's really demanding on every individual police officer to have this attitude to the youth work. And here in the Czech Republic, I think the police corps is seen as a repression force still. And as I know, our local police officers, I have the same experience as Tanya. We can talk to them and share some information about the community, but I do not expect from them to be caring and supporting and fully understanding the community work or the support work or social work or whatever you may call it. So my question is, how does the police body develop those attitudes at police officers? Or how do you coach them? How do you mentor them? How do you make sure that most of them are willing to cooperate and understand, let's say, some basics of cooperation on the street?
Yeah.
I mean, the main idea is clear and it's nice, but how do you proceed it?
We
to
are not social workers.
That
you are correct in that. But we are people who get in a lot of situations, also by situations in the house of the children, seeing things some people don't see, and those signals we share. We don't think we have to be a street worker or an ambulance worker or a youth worker, but we can cooperate to make them more trusty to police, so they can speak to police as well. Some things they rather share with us than with you. Sounds strange, perhaps, but it's true, and therefore it's important they are familiar with us and they know that they can speak to us without consequences. So that's our job in the whole package. But I'm not going to replace your use in the work.
To be more specific, do they the district agents? Do they undergo some special training, or because if you want to be a police officer in the Czech Republic, you join the police corps and you go through the training, which is around law, shooting and running, and that's
still doing that.
That's it. I mean, our officers are not trained in social systems and connections and community work. So, do you care about your people in a specific
the district
preparation?
agents are specialized officers who are trained to be more socialized. So 20% of their job is still hoo-ha and fight. And the 80% is speak to people, get to know them better, helping them, learn from them, and say, you've got a problem, but I cannot solve it, but you can, so you have to go to him. Sometimes we come to a place for a specific problem, and we detect another problem, and you can ignore it and do your own job, or you can say, I see you've got a problem as well, so I'm going to do good for you. and that's our responsibility. And still, I'm not a professional in caretaking, so I'm still a police officer.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. And my second question, if I may.
Sorry?
And my second question, if I may, is you were describing the example of the youth group and some escalating tensions and all that stuff. Can you describe more the decision process? Because you were presenting if there is an escalating tendency, then something will or will not happen. Who decides that? How do you agree that? Because that's the common thing, that we as a social workers on street see things from a different point of view than the police officers. And from us is the situation sometimes still okay and manageable, and we see a potential to some changes, and from a police officer they say, okay, that's enough, and let's move to another step and take some step more. So how do you decide these cases or these situations?
We lean on your professional. We lean on your profession. So every profession on the street who has something to do with a group get a 5-minute pitch. Smile. A 5-minute pitch. And that's the moment you can share your ideas about the group. And we also look at facts. Reports of people who called the police many times. It all adds up. When we don't have enough facts and we only have storytelling, and the youth worker says, I have enough to work with, we say, go on, what do you need to do more? So to prevent that it will escalate. But sometimes we see a group and the facts add up and it's a problem. And a problem in that some youngsters are doing stuff they shouldn't do. And then you can separate caretaking with the law. Yeah?
Thank
Sufficient?
you.
Yeah? Okay. No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Já bych teda ještě využila příležitosti, když se nikdo neptá. A nevím teda, jestli o tom byla řeč, ale vlastně, když jsme se s naším holandským kolegou s Nikem bavili o tom jeho způsobu práce v ulici, tak mluvil o multidisciplinárních týmech, kdy pracuje v jednom týmu vlastně policista, psychiatr, psycholog nebo sociální pracovník, prostě v jedné lokalitě. Já jsem tady nebyla celou dobu na tu prezentaci, takže nevím přesně, jestli o tom byla řeč nebo nebyla řeč. A mě by zajímalo velmi tohleto, jestli vlastně vy taky pracujete v takovém týmu, nebo mám tu informaci, že byste asi měl, tak jestli je to tak, jestli nám o tom můžete něco více říct.
Yes, sorry. Specialized. I hear double. Specialized team. There's an officer of justice. I don't know how to pronounce it otherwise. In my responsibility, someone of the municipality, and one person of the. Yeah, how do you call it? Caretaking. What we do is the signals we get in. We ask our people, do you recognize what they are saying? So if someone had a pitch, we can see in our own systems what we know about the youngsters. And that combined makes how we react to the group. We have an area coordinator of the municipality who is responsible for people to let them know people to know each other better, neighborhood, the inhabitants and the children, to be better together. Yeah, my English is terrible right now. But that's that's how we work. I hope it's sufficient. It's difficult to think in Dutch and speak in English, and hopefully, so. Yeah, thank you.
Tak a žádná otázka teda? Jo, já už souhlasím. Výborně.
I would like to ask if you have any experience with the foreign police. If in the team that you are working, there are some specialists meant to migrate, the people with the migration background, because as I know, not in each culture the access to the police or the trust is the same. If there are some different approach from that point or that field.
Yeah. Mixed cultures in we also have mixed culture in the policing. So if we want to know something about Polish people or Somali, we can ask them about the situation. But we also have some groups in the community who do work in the community for their own groups. People with backgrounds from other countries who can share their experience with the youth. So we make use of that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, if you show some pictures from the program, is there any a program for the girls, which is just focused on them? Because as I know, for many Arabic countries, for example, it's a really big issue. Let's say from 12 and older, even in the language group, and also many welcome classes and so on, they are not participating in the mixed group. Are you working with that topic?
That's completely street work. So they have girls groups where they do activities just for that group of people, and that's adjustable to whatever the question is they want to be helped with at. So, yeah. But we don't do anything with that from the police.
Yeah, because when you said that you build a trust, they are, even here in Czech Republic, we have such Vietnamese or other families that we have, there's a lot of violence and stuff happening in the family, but no one reported.
Yeah.
So if this is something that you're trying to
yeah, we try to accomplish that by let the special groups in Eindhoven who have the same background talk to the people and say that we are another kind of police than the police they know. So they build trust to us and they try to they can better share their problems with us. But there's always a tension field. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome. No more questions?
Já možná nemám otázku, nebo možná, že budete nějak reagovat, nebo i ostatní. Proč vlastně jsme také pozvali Gideona na konferenci? Je taková zkušenost, která si myslím, že se opakuje nejenom teda v mý praxi, ale i v další, že se sociální pracovník potkává se situací, kdy jeho klient je obětí nějakého trestného činu a nechce se obrátit na policii, protože buď má prostě špatnou zkušenost z minula, že policie jeho problém nebo ten trestný čin vlastně nechtěla řešit, nebo ze svého okolí zná nějaký takový případ, kdy se to buď neřešilo, nebo se to naopak třeba i obrátilo vůči oběti, taková situace. A já si myslím, že i v zájmu samozřejmě toho klienta, i v zájmu vůbec řešení té problematiky v lokalitách je potřeba vlastně s těmi špatnými zkušenostmi a někdy třeba i s těmi předsudky nakládat tak, že máme podporovat vlastně klienty, aby policii nevynechávali z řešení takových situací a ani jako my jako pracovníci, že bychom ji neměli vynechávat, protože bychom se potom mohli dostat do situace, kdy vlastně to právo by bral do ruky někdo jiný a řešil ty věci prostě nějakými jako jinými cestami a to si myslím, že bychom nechtěli se dostat do takové situace. Nicméně i já jako se svými klienty, já osobně nemám jenom pozitivní zkušenosti s policisty a s policií jako takovou, tak by mě zajímalo vlastně, co byste nám poradil, jak vlastně postupovat, co by bylo možná chytré od nás udělat v takových situacích. A to je jedna věc. A druhá věc je, jste říkal, že ti policisté, ti okrskáři, o kterých jste mluvil, takže 20% té jejich práce je takové té klasické policejní a 80%, že je vlastně o tom informování, o té práci preventivní, jestli můžu říct, tak jestli to je nějaká jako speciální pozice v té policii, tenhle ten člověk, že asi není každý policista takový, že jo. Tak jestli je to nějaká speciální pozice a jestli je teda jenom v Holandsku taková pozice, nebo že by třeba v jiných státech mohla být taky, nebo že bychom ji mohli navrhnout, že by mohla být i v České republice. Jestli byste o tom mohl říct něco víc.
That would be nice if all the countries has such a thing as a district agent. It's not like that. A lot of countries don't have them. United States have their sheriff's department, and they're also making contact. This project is from America, so there are a few other countries who work like us. In my talk yesterday with the Czech of the Prague police, I told them to reach out. Not wait until somebody else comes, but reach out to the ones you want to reach. So if they want to cooperate with you as a street work, they have to come to you. And also, to build trust, they have to go to the schools and tell story about how the police is doing their jobs right now. Because they told me that a lot of parents still says to the children, if you do wrong, the police will come and whip. So that's not positive. So the children will not make contact of their own. So it's important they meet the children at schools. We have a school program and then half time, when they can play outside. I don't know if it's in Prague the same way, but that time we used to play football with them on school, just to make contact. Let them see you're not scary. Yeah, so use the people who are positive in cooperation and search them, talk to them, and reach out together, and then the group will grow. But Prague police is still, you have municipality policing and you have order police. Order police is not speakable to, I think, perhaps a little bit. And municipality is, as I understood, more someone who does give fines if you park wrong or something like that. So You don't want to make friends with them. But there has to change something. It starts with finding each other. Yeah? Yeah? Question?
Dobrý den. Moje osobní zkušenost s policií v Čechách je, že bych ji rozdělil na podle charakteru těch policistů na četníky a kovboje. Četníci, kteří jako chápou tu kriminalitu jako v širokém kontextu a vědí, že 80% jejich práce je komunikace, i třeba s těma sociálně slabšíma vyloučenýma lidma, aby našli řešení. A kovbojové jsou ty, kteří spolíhají na svoji sílu, jsou možná zblblí z těch pistolí a z toho. Chtěl jsem se ptat, jaký je mechanismus v Holandsku, nebo taky asi tam máte nějaké ty kovboje, jakým způsobem je odstraňujete z toho sboru, nebo jestli máte jaký kontroly, nebo střílíte, ale jak to funguje ta kontrola, nebo jestli se taky máte případy, třeba i negativní chování policistů, takového kovbojského, nebo jak to řešíte?
Yeah, we also have cowboys, of course, and I don't like them. So when we see one, we talk to him and explain why it's important to behave otherwise. Such people make it difficult for us to tell our story and make contact to civilians. So it's important they do their work on another base. If they want to be a cowboy, we have special forces they can attend. But on the street, we mainly would like to have people who can talk. For myself, I work now 20 years at police. I never use violence. So it's the person who decides if there's going to be some fight or not. I have a mouth. That's my biggest weapon. I usually take 5 minutes more to explain to people. The biggest problem with police is they often, and it happens more when they are working longer at police, they don't see people as people anymore. And you are difficult, you did something stupid, why are you crying? It's just a burglary. And that's wrong. You have to be patient, you have to be interesting in people to be accepted as police officer. You don't always have to be raw, just be yourself.
Thank you. Yes, in Germany it's not possible to work together, but we have done different works, and but we have a police district policeman, and there we sit together on the round table in the district to speak about different problems in this district, and his work is to stay with bicycle in the streets, and he has no gun, and neighborhood can ask him about interesting things they want to need from police, and the cooperation, we can't speak about cooperation, but we have different work. And example, when we make a festival with refugees in our district, and we know there are some neo-Nazis, they want to make trouble, and then we say, please, can you look that we have a good festival, and this is a way we can plan something together. Or it's a problem between in front of the ground school, and young people must go over the street, and there's problems for accidents there, and these are questions we can speak, but all other things we have different work.
Yeah, I understand. We also have I can call it tables in the different areas in Eindhoven where professionals and inhabitants of an area can speak with each other about the area on its own. A loose street, how do you call it? Tile? Tile? Well, or just troubles in the neighborhood, they can speak with each other. Someone who lives in the neighborhood can also tell professionals who are sitting on the table, we've got a problem with youth over there, and can we do something about it? And it's a joint team effort. We try to bring the people who live in the area into the problem solving. Because we believe that when we learn to speak to each other, to reach out and say, hey, you're doing something wrong, instead of calling the police, they are doing something wrong, builds trust. And so we don't have to do more in the future, but less. So, another question?
You said that you are in this position for 20 years. So, how do you maintain? How you personally maintain the contact with the people and not to get attached from the reality of the work on the street? And the second question is, are all your colleagues so enlightened as you are, or are you the one of the kind?
They're all individuals, so everybody is an own person. I'm very open, so easily to contact. I'm not doing this for 20 years. I'm doing this district work now for approximately 9 years. And before that I was some officer on the street maintaining order. But I always was interesting in people, and I think that's necessary for a good police officer. And not every district agent is the same. We have district agents who look out and only for signs of criminal behavior, and some are more interested in care signs and helping people further in their lives. And that's always a big there's always balancing between those two things. Yes?
Já bych se chtěl zeptat, protože přemýšlím...
Moment. Yes?
Přemýšlím, co by třeba tu stanici, ty policisty v lokalitě, kde pracujeme, my jako terénní pracovníci mohlo postačit k tomu, aby se začali uvažovat o tom, že třeba půjdou taky víc mezi lidi, půjdou chodit jako na akce, představovat se, půjdou blíž jako k veřejnosti, než jako zásah, jako kontrola. A vzpomněl jsem si, že vlastně policie ráda mluví o tom, když se vlastně jí daří třeba potlačit nějaký zločin a mít data k tomu. Tak říkám si, jestli máte třeba nějaké statistiky, že díky tomu vytvoření těch speciálních okrskových třeba pracovníků, důstojníků, kteří jsou blíž k lidem, tak jestli se třeba snížila nějaká konkrétní kriminalita, že vlastně ta prevence zapůsobila, že policie potom má méně práce s jiným v té oblasti, protože si myslím, že tohle by mohla policii zajímat, jako vlastně nějaký údaj ze zahraničí, že díky té práci speciální se vlastně podařilo nějakým třeba zločinům jako předcházet a snížil se jejich počet. Tak jestli máte nějaký statistický třeba údaje k tomu. Děkuju.
Yeah, that's always difficult. Same as the last presentation, hard facts of our work being related to lesser crime is difficult. The community is changing, the interest is changing. A lot of things happen on the internet now. It's easier to commit crimes on the internet than commit a burglary outside. What is more visible? So lesser crime in a city doesn't always have to relate to police work. So that's difficult. what to do to be more of talk police than force police. Is the police to come out and talk to people. They have a few enthusiastic people around in Prague Police. I spoke to them. Those are the first who have to talk to their own people at station to tell them it's better to talk than react on situations on the street. But they have also to be how do you call it? They must be provided with schooling from their chiefs. As long as their chiefs don't believe in this kind of work, the Prague Police will not change. So that's the first thing. That's the main thing that has to happen. Refreshments in the lead. Younger people who understand better how the world is outside. Instead of the 60-year-old police chiefs who are sitting on desks, behind desks, I hope, not on, telling people who work on the street how life is going on. So in the top there has to be a change to school the other, to educate the other officers. Yeah. Yes? How much time do I have? Oh, sorry.
Já jsem možná nepochopil, nebo jak to máte vůbec v Holandsku. V Čechách je policie rozdělená na městskou a státní. Já jsem nepochopil, jestli to je podobný v Holandsku. A pokud vy jste teda z městské policie, tak jaký máte vztah ke státní? Protože třeba u nás ty dvě složky fungují úplně odlišně. Státní je zaměřená hodně na kriminalitu a právě městská na nějakou pouliční persekuci, třeba když někdo špatně parkuje, plus na tu komunikaci prostě s lidma, nebo tak. Jaký máte vůbec vztah s tou státní policií a jaká je úloha vaše?
We do all the work together. We don't have special policing for order maintaining and special policing for fining. No, I do everything. What happens on the street, what I see is what I do. I react and I act on my own. I'm a complete police officer, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it otherwise. We have, of the municipality has their own special, officers, I call them. They write fines for the community. So the municipality has their own rules. So your dog cannot poop over there. You cannot park your car over there. They fine on that grounds, but they are not police officers. So they are they work for the municipality. That's the difference. Yeah. Yep. Another question there.
As I know, in the past, there were like many projects, especially at the Czech Republic Police, the state police, Ústí nad Labem, and like several cities. They are in the social excluded localities. There were police officers like coming in a school, working with the kids. But the main problem is that after like 2-3 years, they build the trust. They work with the kids, but because of this like city police, many cases were sent to the other department. So a lot of those programs stopped. What we still keep is this police assistant. I don't know if you ever heard about it. It's when you have like localities with the higher increase of criminality and so on, they can be hired people mainly from communities or like Roma, for example, and they work in the field and they helping to come in the school and so on. But this like difference or different way of hierarchy in the police, it's really hard to let them cooperate within. And I'm working with the police time to time, and the main problem is that they have nothing as a like coaching or mentoring on whatever. So some of them try themselves do something, but then they are pushed to say who tell the information or like how they observe it, or even they need to prove whatever, and it's really hard for them not to point this was this kid or this is this family. It's something that how you let's say keep the information and not blame the family. Is there something that you can work with a street worker on, that you share some information but you keep the distance, that the public, let's say, or the community has no access to the person, or they don't know who really point the situation?
I don't know exactly if I understand the question, but when we come in situations where youngsters are involved, usually we know the youngsters on the street by name. We talk to them and we make a report of situation and share it with street work. Is that what you mean? No,
it's more that if I will know some information about the family, but actually I want to say like anonymely, or like
you want to
say
that
I will not definitely be written in a report, for example.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. That's difficult because when information is literally coming back to you, then we don't want you to share that information. If there are more companies or street workers, and it doesn't come back directly to you, then we can use the information. But if you are going to be in some kind of danger, or we don't use that information. Is that what you're looking for? Okay. When you start your question, I thought you were trying to say how to reach policing. They are in big buildings here. It's not inviting to come over there. And I wanted to answer to that. We all have computers, the district agents, and we also go outside sitting on a bench in a park, using our cars with a table. We have a mobile office. So wherever we've got a group of youth in Eindhoven who is making a lot of noise, well, you can constantly go to the group and say, don't do that anymore. Or you can go to that location and put your working station over there, work, and let them come. They are curious, so they always want to know what you are doing, and you have a conversation. So that's how we make it easier for youth to approach us. And then more questions? Or retired? Thirsty. Okay, thank you.